Subscribe to Film Companion for your film fix. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.
When I am doing some creative writing, when I'm writing poetry or even dialogue, then I need a pen and a paper because it happens somewhere between the point of the nib and paper. हमारे ज़माने में ऐसा होता नॉनसेंस रविश ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता पहले बहुत अच्छी फिल्में बनती थी ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कुछ अच्छी फिल्में बनती थी most of them used to be atrocious even today most of the films are bad some films are good सब हमेशा ऐसे ही होता
Javed sir, it's always such a pleasure to see you. And today I'm especially excited because we're going to talk about poetry in a world where the general tenor seems to be very shrill and unpoetic. So I want to start by asking you to tell me more about the India Shayari Project and why did you agree to be a part of it?
I found it interesting because they have collected people from almost all the generations available at the moment. And it is not actually correct that people are losing interest in poetry. Maybe the source of communication has changed. But if you go on, say, YouTube or other channel, you'll realize that there is a huge audience and there are huge following of poetry and poets on these channels. So the younger generation, no thanks to us as a matter of fact, has found what is missing in their life. And if I may say so, and they are discovering poetry on their own. And I'm very happy telling you that the young poets have developed a new metaphor, new language, new style. And I am very positive about poetry and poetry future and the connection between the young generation and the poet.
But Javed sir, we're in the middle of a global pandemic, right? There is death and disease everywhere. At a time like this, does poetry become a luxury or is poetry in fact more relevant than ever?
Whatever you enjoy is a luxury. So if you stop enjoying it, it ceases to be luxury. So I would like to believe that poetry is luxury too. But it should not only be a luxury. It should, while it is feeding or nurturing your aesthetics, at the same time, it should create certain empathy in you for what is happening all around. It should create certain sensitivity towards people who need your sensitivity, and so on. So, yes, of course, all art is pleasure, but it should not just be pleasure.
Well, Javed sir, your writing, the poetry, the lyrics, the dialogue, they've always blurred the lines between the eloquent and the accessible. Okay, you have said that you write in a way that people can understand. You're not writing from a position of I'm an intellectual giant. You want to communicate with people. But tell me, what is the art of combining sophisticated ideas with simple language? It's so hard to do.
You enter a room which is dark, but you are very clear and you know where the switchboard is. So with one finger, you can put the light on. But if you are not sure where is the switchboard, you will feel the whole wall. So precision comes with the clarity of idea. If you are clear about what you want to say, you will be able to say it precisely in the most simple language. You will not need bombastic words because you see these big, so-called big words are like stones that have been rolled from some hill long ago, and they have wrapped a lot of moss around them. So sometimes if you use big words, it may mean what you don't even mean it at all. You never meant it. They have their own meaning. They bring their own baggage. But the more clear you are about your idea, you use transparent language because you don't want to hide anything. You are not suspicious or you are not inconfident of the idea. So only people with a clean idea and confidence in your thought, in their thought, can use simple language.
But Javed sir, is it, after all these decades of writing, is it still a challenge? Do you, or does it just flow? Does it come easily to you now?
Oh, I wish that was how it would have been. You see, doing any work is easy. Doing any work with certain degree of competence is difficult. And it remains difficult. And every time it's a challenge to you. Because to bring it in sharp focus, to bring your idea, your statement, your point of view to sharp focus is tedious.
Yeah. But tell me about your writing process. When do you write? Where do you write? आपके कुछ rules हैं अपने लिए कि I have to sit in front of the computer for so many hours, or how do you do it? And has this process changed in the last 4 or 5 decades?
I have only one process that I don't have any process. And
Matlab?
like I can write at any time. And I only write when I feel that I won't be able to meet my deadline. So it is the terror is the basic motivation in my life. So when I'm terrorized that now I won't be able to meet my deadline, then my neurons start working. And once it is working, then right in the midst of a party, I can write. People talking, moving around, they don't disturb me at all. Anyway, the only thing I think, the only condition I have, that personally I prefer a blank paper sheet, not the lined one. But if I get the lined one and the other paper is not available, I'll write on that also, but I'll be slightly unhappy. I feel more confident if there are no lines on the paper.
Tell me, so you never move to a computer, you're writing longhand?
Long. I can send messages on computer, I can send letters, I use Twitter and so on. But when I'm doing some creative writing, when I'm writing poetry or even dialogue, then I need a pen and a paper because it happens somewhere between the point of the nib and paper.
That's amazing. नहीं, but जावेद साहब, मतलब फिर बदलते कैसे हैं आप, या कुछ बदलते ही नहीं है, एक बार लिख दिया तो लिख दिया?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, because once you write and then you read it and you feel that you have to be an editor, a ruthless editor of your writing. And only then you can be more precise and more focused. So let's not fall in love with our words. Once you are writing, obviously you are involved. But when you are reading, you should be totally objective.
Wow, that's amazing. But Javed sahab, what I really admire about your artistry is that you have reinvented yourself with every decade that you worked in. Okay, so you wrote Hawa Hawai in the 80s, एक लड़की को देखा in the 90s, जाने क्यों लोग प्यार करते हैं in 2000. 2 years ago, you wrote Duri for Gully Boy. You've even written dialogue for a dog. Okay, ये आप कैसे करते हैं? How do you talk to the time you're in?
All right, let me answer it right from the end instead of the beginning. Yes, in Zoya's film, that was Dil Dhadakne Do, right? I have no idea, you must ask my daughter, that why she decided that dialogue of the dog nobody can write better than my father. The rest of the dialogue is not written by me. It's only the dog's dialogue. So why she chose this is a question that she should answer. Now, let's go back to reinvent. I have not reinvented myself at all because it cannot be that kind of a planned action. And if you will plan to be reinvented, you will be caught because that will be fake. First of all, what you call reinvention means remaining in sync with the contemporary generation, right?
Correct.
You cannot have a policy that I will do this and that will be good for me, and that is where I'll be right. I should become. No, that's not possible. It has to be genuine. It has to be real. First of all, we believe that anybody who was born after us has less intelligence or less intellect than us. But at the same time, we are not willing to believe that anybody who was born before us was wiser than us. That we are not willing to believe. So, first of all, that is wrong. Intelligence and intellect after a person has become an adult they are equals. And if you have respect for the younger generation, and you better have respect because they understand the world, the contemporary world better than you. You have something that they don't know, but they also have a lot that you don't know. If there is kind of a mutual respect and communication, you will remain contemporary. The moment you will think, this is the way I can be contemporary, so I should do that. Not from the heart, but as a policy, it won't work.
Yeah.
It won't work. I genuinely respect young people, and I'm very impressed by their talent and their caliber. And I try to learn from them. And I offer them a lot of learning. Quite often they don't accept that gift, but doesn't matter. It doesn't discourage me. I continue giving them that offer.
So, Javed sir, in the India Shayari Project, there are also other poets. There's Kausar Munir, there's Zakir Khan, younger poets. So, when you're working with them, kabhi, do you ever have a moment of, but I'm Javed Akhtar? Kabhi ego aata hai in these situations?
नहीं ऐसा तो मुझे नहीं होता, लेकिन ये जरूर मैं आपको बात बताऊं. I will not be diplomatic about it at all. I see that young people have a lot of passion and quite often some very new ideas, but they don't have control of craft.
Right.
You see, every art has two aspects: fantasy, imagination, dreams, romanticism. But on the other side, there is exactly the opposite, that is craft, and which is as romantic as mathematics.
Yeah.
Or algebra.
Correct.
It is. Now you have to carry these two incompatibles together. While on one hand, while you are writing, you are dreaming, you are fantasizing, but on the other hand, your craft should be perfect, and there you are totally objective and ruthless.
Yeah.
And both the things happen together. It's a perhaps art is some kind of a work in a paradox. So, मुझे ऐसा लगता है, that's what I feel, that the younger generation doesn't have that control over craft that people used to have. So उसमें they make slips. Whether it is grammatical or meter or the rhythm or the rhyme, they tend to make slips.
Yeah. So, Javed sir, you said in an interview you're working on 3 scripts and writing a short film. Can you tell us anything about these projects?
Well, I must tell you about the short film that is actually just one short.
Huh.
So far, I can tell you only that. And after a long time, I have come back to scripts. The last script that I had written was Lakshya. And now I have done one script where Farhan will be playing the lead, and it is directed by Ashutosh Gowarikar. And I'm almost on the last lap of another script which Zoya wants to direct. I had narrated that idea to her. And then there is one more complete script with dialogue, comma, full stop, and semicolons that I have given to somebody. I think they'll get back to me in a day or two, so I'll tell you whether they are making it or they are not making it.
But how exciting! Javed sir, back to writing scripts. That's amazing.
Such baat ye hai ki nowadays, more often than not, songs are not giving me that kind of satisfaction that they were providing me perhaps 7, 8, 10 years back. Abhi kuch, I think music industry is going through some strange process. But gradually you will see that like in any other country in the West, music industry will find its own bearing and its own identity. For almost 5, 6 decades, music was a part of films only, and only film music used to get popular. But gradually it is happening because film is almost abdicating music. Uh, Now most of the songs are in the background, and most of the songs are uh, in the area of gibberish. Uh, you, there is no value of the word. It is one fast beat, and that's about all. They are called item songs. I mean, even an item song should have some meaning. There is no harm. I mean, meanings don't hurt. I have never heard meaning causes cancer. I've never heard. So we should not be that scared of it, of meaning. But that is how the situation is. So gradually you will see a big, huge music industry developing on its own.
But Javed sir, tell me this scenario. आपने अभी कहा कि you narrated an idea to Zoya, who is of course a fabulous director, but she's your daughter. So how do you narrate? How do you pitch? You are the legend, Javed Akhtar. She's a very fine director. How is there professionalism in this relationship? How does it work?
She is not at all impressed by me. Somebody should tell her that I'm a legend, that information has yet to reach her. So it's perfectly all right. And as am I, why only Zoya or Farhan? I am working with so many people who are like my children because I have worked with their fathers or mothers. So what he can, but again, it is not a policy because they will see through it. I genuinely respect that talent. Zoya is my daughter. It may sound very funny to you, but the fact is that I have great respect for her as a director and as a writer.
Yeah.
I think she's a very fine scriptwriter. I'm very impressed by her work. So if you genuinely respect the talent of young people, then there is no generation gap. If you think that you know all the answers and you know everything, हमारे ज़माने में ऐसा होता, nonsense, rubbish, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. पहले बहुत अच्छी फिल्में बनती थी, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. कुछ अच्छी फिल्में बनती थी. Most of them used to be atrocious. Even today, most of the films are bad. Some films are good. सब हमेशा ऐसे ही होता.
Yeah. Yeah. Javed sir, in your poem लिख, you say, जो बात कहते डरते हैं सब, तू वो बात लिख, इतनी अंधेरी थी न कभी पहले रात, लिख. Do you believe that poetry can change the world?
Poetry, I'll be repeating myself because this is an answer that I have just given to somebody, but poetry is not aspirin that you pop one pill and your headache goes away. Poetry is like vitamin. If you keep consuming it, if you keep taking it, gradually your aesthetic and the muscles of your intellect develop. And aesthetic sense is necessary because aesthetics tell you what is ugly and what is beautiful. And whatever is crude, indecent, unjust, that is ugly. And whatever is just, fair, empathetic, sympathetic, that is beautiful. So I think ultimately, if you keep on consuming poetry, literature, prose, novels, short stories, they tell you two things. One, people are so different from each other. Two, how similar they are.
Yeah.
And both these facts may ostensibly sound contrary, but that is how life is. So when you start understanding people, you start understanding beauty, and that develops empathy in you, that develops a better person in you, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, almost at the end, Javed Saab, I have to ask, how difficult is it for you to be a liberal, progressive, secular artist today?
I don't know, since I don't have any choice, so I don't know whether it is difficult or easy, but that's what I am. So, I mean, it is like asking me how difficult it is to carry this nose that you have on your face, and what do you think of your jawline? So, I mean, that is what I am. So, whether it is difficult or easy, but that's what I am, and I have no other choice. So that's it.
And finally, Javed Sahab, what gives you hope?
Human beings, people. And I believe that, you see, as the child grows, the child develops more sense. The same way is true of the society also, of the civilization. We are fortunate to be born in a civilization that is perhaps 5,000-6,000 years old. And जैसे बच्चा बड़ा होता है और उसमें एक इनहेरेंट सेंसिबिलिटी होती है, वैसे सोसाइटीज में भी होती है. Indian by temperament is a middle of the road person. Genetically, the Indian is a middle of the road. Sometimes जैसे शरीफ लोग जो होते हैं, वो अपने जब आवारा दोस्तों को देखते हैं तो उन्हें लगता है भाई हम बड़ी बोरिंग लाइफ गुजार रहे हैं, हमें भी तो कुछ आवारा होना चाहिए. तो थोड़े दिनों के लिए कुछ या थोड़ी देर के लिए वो कुछ हो जाए, but ultimately they come back to their original self. It can never have an extreme left revolution, and it can never have an extreme right revolution. That's not possible. That is not India's temperament. We sometimes move from the center, go one way or the other, but ultimately we come back to the middle of the road, and we will, because genetically we are made to be the middle of the road people.
That's lovely. I hope that you are right. That's wonderful. Javed Sahab, thank you so much. And please keep infusing our lives with more poetry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey guys, I had such a fun time chatting with Javed Sahab. He's one of the wittiest men in the film industry, one of the wittiest men I know. If you like this video, subscribe to Film Companion and also check out our website, filmcompanion.in.